All right, so it's back to school, but also back to Parliament very soon. So joining us live now with his weekly take on political news from all levels of government, CTV's political commentator Scott Reid, coming back from hot Mexico. Welcome back, Scott.
Hola! Yeah, you're cooling down and cerveza-free so far this morning.
Cerveza-free this morning, yeah. It's not true last week.
I guess not. Okay, but let's talk about this, what we learned last week about this major project office at the federal level here. Yes. Kind of looking ahead, we've got the fall session coming up, major projects, and then Carney Poilievre, the battle in the House of Commons set next week.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's not just back to school, it's back to work, and that includes federal politicians, right? And Mark Carney has been in complete control of the agenda. Think about it. Since he was elected Prime Minister, really, the truth of the matter is they've had about 7-8 days in Parliament, but other than that, he's been out, no Parliament, Pierre Poilievre not in the House, and so he's had almost complete control over the agenda. Now, he's appointing this major projects office. That's the person who's going to be in charge, Calgary executive, going to have a big office in Calgary for this, and it's focused on how do we deliver on these big projects. He's promised to build more, build faster. That's going to be the job there. So we'll see if they can deliver. Then we have a budget coming up in the fall. The House resumes. Pierre Poilievre's back in the House as the leader of the opposition. He wants to bring both barrels like Carney. So suddenly we're going to enter an era of challenge. This week, the Prime Minister is going to tune things up. He's bringing together his cabinet, bringing together his caucus. So we'll wait and see how he begins to play his cards. But this period of time where he's in complete control politically, where there's no real challenge and contest to him, that's over.
Yep. Okay, we're going to be seeing a lot more face-offs between Carney and Poilievre very soon. Also, it's back to school, Scott, and we know that education falls under the provincial jurisdiction. And Premier Doug Ford plans to kind of blow up some school boards and really the trustee system over some budgeting issues. We spoke with Paul Calandra, Minister of Education, about how, they're going to get in there and set things right.
Set things right. Or set things terribly wrong. Look, I'll give you two numbers, okay? 5 and 53. 5 is a number of school boards that the province has placed under direct control, where basically the school trustees, sorry, you're no longer needed, right? And they are directly managing those. And they're huge. It's Ottawa, it's Toronto District Catholic, right? And then on top of that, 53, what's that number? That is the percentage of approval for the Ford government in the province of Ontario. Why am I linking those two things? This government feels like it's in control. This government feels like it has the ability to implement its agenda. A long held complete faith among conservatives are, let's get rid of those damn school boards, those trustees. They're breeding grounds for lefty politicians. They're breeding grounds for local challenge. And this government, when you think about the way that it's reduced the number of city councillors here in Toronto and elsewhere, it loves to be in control. It wants to have direct management from Queen's Park. School boards are on their agenda. Calandra is not being subtle about it. He's coming for them. And yes, they'll say, oh, there's financial mismanagement, or we don't like the priorities they set. But the question for parents is going to be this. Whose neck are you going to wring when things go wrong? If you don't have a local school trustee to say, hey, you know what, I don't like what's going on in the school, or, this principal doesn't return my calls. Like, I grew up in Eastern Ontario. Do you think somebody from the Ministry of Education in Toronto is calling my mom back in Ameliasburg in 1977? Rats a ruck, Ruby. Not happening. So I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how this debate. This is the kind of thing you do as a government when you feel like, you know what, we're untouchable. We are rocking in the polls and we can do what we want. It's going to be a fascinating debate to watch unfold.
And the provincial polling shows they're like at 53%. I mean,
that's the thing.
They're higher than they've, I think, been in a couple of years' time. So it's like, who's stopping them? There's talk about, does the Liberal Party need a new leader? Like, there's all kinds of things going on.
And it's very awkward, too, for the opposition parties. I mean, we know that the NDP, Margaret Stiles, will be hard set against it. The Liberals will have to wait and see. But this fundamental issue of, well, what about local choice? What about local variation? Like, it's a hell of a lot different running a public school 10 miles north of Thunder Bay than it is in downtown, at Owen Public School in North York, right? So it'll be interesting to see how all that unfolds, because there is a rule in politics, which is careful what you wish for. And if they want to take complete control of the education system, then they're going to own all the burdens and responsibilities and complaints about it also.
Yeah.
Patty Haidu also making an initial jobs announcement today at 10:30 this morning. Youth unemployment is something we've talked. How many guests have we had, Jen, this summer about youth unemployment, can't get jobs? But is this not too late now that school is going back? Or is this like, does this...
We'll have to see. 10:30 this morning, we'll see what the announcement's going to be. I mean, it's no mistake, right? Everybody hooks off, oh, it's the first day back. So what's our first day back announcement? It's going to be youth employment.
Right.
We'll have to see what the substance of it is. But there is a brewing, undeniable problem, not just in our jobs data overall. You see growth was down last week, right? 1.6% GDP contraction. Right? A lot of people are wondering, are we moving toward a recession? Where is the warning sign? What's the canary in the coal mine? Youth employment. It has plummeted. So we'll see what the announcement is. The government's trying to demonstrate that it's in control of this. Get ahead of Parliament, get ahead of the criticism. But how big is this announcement going to be? How big will the effect be?
No kidding.
All right, we'll find out later. CTV's political commentator Scott Reid, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Scott.
See you guys.